Welcome back to Eye on Ocean County. I'm Jamie Lynn Drohan, and today I'm talking to Carole O'Brien. She is the Director of Training and Quality Assurance for Prevent Child Abuse New Jersey. And right now we're going to talk about what parents should be focusing on this summer with their children. So why don't you talk to us about this summer, Carole?
Yes, it's a wet one, isn't it? And sometimes
definitely.
that could be very trying, being in the home with children and not able to go outside or to a park. Sometimes gets everybody a little crazy.
Yes, stir crazy. Yeah.
However, it's nice to keep the home equipped with some quick, easy things that you can do when you have the children and you are stuck inside. Sometimes the hot days as well, you don't want them outside if it's really too hot.
Yeah.
So keeping simple things in the house and simple tricks up your sleeves. Decks of cards, puzzle pieces, making frustration cookies are always great.
Oh, what are frustration cookies?
Frustration cookies are great. It's a simple sugar cookie recipe.
Okay.
But because it's a sugar cookie recipe, it tends to be dry. So then the kids can pound it down and knead it. And we used to make bread, and making bread was great because you'd squeeze and you'd knead and you'd get out your frustration.
Okay.
So frustration cookies are really just sugar cookies.
Wow, that's the first time I've ever heard of them
But you
referred
can
to like
beat
that.
them down.
Okay.
And that's really what it is. It's being creative and giving yourself something to do, because the lazy days of summer are really great. However,
We all need outlets.
And they aren't lazy anymore. Parents are working, children are going to camps, you're going from camp to ballet to Girl Scouts and Boy
Soccer,
Scouts.
yeah.
Their children are used to this immediate gratification. And sometimes, you know, they're amongst a sea of gadgets, and they say, and every parent still hears, I'm bored. I'm bored. And part of that is that they just want you. They want time with you. They're not going to remember that you had a clean kitchen floor every day, but they are going to remember that, you know, on a rainy day you took some
Mom was really
material
good at Monopoly.
and
Yeah.
we played Monopoly,
Yeah.
or we had a picnic under a tent between the chairs that were set up under a sheet. So it's having that kind of activity and information for you on hand. And then it's also finding the inexpensive, the daycations.
Yeah.
No, we don't need vacations anymore. We can have a daycation, we can have a staycation, where we do something that's local. Sometimes going to the park and having a picnic, going to a lake that's nearby.
Or a library. There's a lot of reading programs during the summer.
Oh,
and
there's
it's usually
great
actually
reading
part of a
programs.
child's curriculum for their entering the next grade. Yeah.
Yes. And as we talked a little bit earlier about the need for structure that children have, it's important in the summertime to also maintain some sort of structure, some semblance of normalcy for the children, so that there are regular rest times. There is maybe a reading hour where everybody's quiet and they're reading something. It doesn't have to be a novel.
Right.
It could be a comic book, but anything to sort of keep them a little quiet and quiet everybody down for a little while.
I see.
And it keeps them connected to school and what they've learned. Children lose an immense amount of information that they learned, and a lot of times schools spend all of September just catching them back up from where they were last year.
And if parents at home who are watching are interested in finding different ideas for summertime, can they go to your website, or should they just call?
If they call us, we'll be more than happy to send them lots of information. We do have parenting tips on the website, and our website also has a Facebook and a Twitter.
Really?
So I think we're tweeting lots of different, so they can
Impressive.
follow us on Twitter.
Yeah.
And we do put some things up on there as far as ideas on things to do with children,
And
places
you can get that
to
straight
go.
to your BlackBerry, so it's not like, you have to dig for this type of information.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, it can be sent right to you, so they can follow us on that. There are also podcasts where we have lots of different information about working with children, connecting with children. So we do keep our website very current, and we do try to connect parents and give them lots of information.
What seems to be your biggest struggle or obstacle when you are trying to make a difference for New Jersey families?
Oh, the biggest obstacle is that there's not enough of us, and there's so many families and so many children that it is difficult. We have to address lots of different issues. One, is certainly making certain that we connect to all families, and that they know we're there, and that they know that, Prevent Child Abuse doesn't mean that reaching out to us doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you as a parent or that you're not successful. It just means that you need some information and you're a very intelligent person for reaching out to a source that has that information.
Right, right.
Exactly.
Okay, well, let's take a look. We've got a full page here of what you can do to make a difference for New Jersey families. Starting off with share thoughtful time with a child. And you mentioned this. Children need undivided attention when they talk. Be patient and remember that they move at a different pace in their little worlds. Support new parents. Run an errand, prepare a meal, or do a load of laundry for a new mother. Don't forget about Dad and ask how he is doing in his new role. Discipline children thoughtfully. Never discipline when you are upset, and you mentioned that earlier. Take a time out, and even parents need timeouts too. Discipline is a way to teach. Use privileges to foster good behavior, and timeouts to help a child regain control. Examine your own behavior. Abuse is not just physical, and we spoke about that much earlier in the program. Words and actions also hurt. Be an example to show that conflicts can be settled without hitting or yelling. Remember that kids don't come with instructions. If you see a parent coping with a stressful situation in public, don't judge them. Acknowledge that it's tough work can help can help relieve the stress, and listening to parents when they tell you about their challenges is also helpful. And I've seen people out in public, having a really difficult time, as I mentioned to you during the break. One mom had her kid in the stroller, and he really was giving her a heck of a time. So my heart goes out to her. Recognize child abuse. Physical and sexual abuse are clearly maltreatment, but so is the failure to give a child basic food, clothing, and care. Children can also be emotionally abused if they are rejected or berated on an ongoing basis. Report suspected abuse. You have a legal and moral obligation to report child abuse by calling 1-877-NJ-KIDS. And finally, advocate for prevention programs that provide families with education and support starting when their child is born. And you mentioned that earlier too. Just, when you find out you're pregnant, give you a call and, you can help out.
Yes, and the biggest thing that parents and community members can do is to reach out to other parents. As you said, we all see situations in the store where there's a meltdown. Either the child is melting down or the parent or both are melting down. And oftentimes, people will stare. If I stare and
that's
at
going
the
to
mom,
help or make a difference.
She's not going to do anything wrong, or she'll stop yelling at the child. And you're just raising her stress level. It's not going to, sometimes just saying, I remember those days, or they can be,
it's going to get better.
It's going to get better. Not really, but
but it's helpful.
But
just
it's
showing
helpful
support.
To show your support, or offer to do something. Sometimes just diverting the child's attention helps as well.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all of this information with us here in Ocean County. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and I hope our guests who are watching will also reach out to you via the website and find out more information. Our guest has been Carole O'Brien, Director of Training and Quality Assurance for Prevent Child Abuse New Jersey, and I'm Jamie Lynn Drohan for Eye on Ocean County. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.